Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design, the channel where anything could happen, including some actual crafting. Before I get to the subject of today's video, let me just share a cat's meow kind of invention with you. Dry hands, winter. We know that Hemp's is a great brand, not sponsored. But, of course, as you get to the bottom of the bottle, and I keep this on my rolly cart, and usually the only time I think of putting hand lotion on is right before a video. Several years ago, my daughter gave me this contraption. Let's see if there's any kind of a name on it that I can see. There is something there. The packaging is long gone. Oh, it's called Flip It. So it's essentially this little stand and three different gasket type things. Let me open it up. That correspond to different sized bottle openings. So whether it's body lotion, hand lotion, shampoo, whatever is getting to the bottom, and you paid a lot of money for these things, and you can spend a good amount of time pumping, and still get nothing out. So this thing allows the product to stand upside down wherever you need it, whether it's your rolly cart or your shower. And then when the time comes, you just pull open and voila. So I just thought you might be interested in that. No other reason. Okay, let's get to the job at hand. In an upcoming thrift video, you will see that I bought a diamond painting kit, or not kit, but finished product. And like most other things, a craft is introduced, people jump on the bandwagon, they buy them, they receive them as gifts, they do them, and then, lucky us, they end up in thrift stores. So what I said at the time I showed this, and this one is roughly, I think, 10 by 10. Pretty close. 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. Excuse me. What I said at the time was I wanted to experiment with this and see if it would lend itself to a journal cover. So what I did the other day was cut this in half just to make the proportions maybe a wee bit better. Oh, another idea that I said I thought would work is, because it's so much a grid, columns and rows, that a person could, what I could have done is cut this, say, vertically and have it as a side pocket or a belly band or something like that. Now, the colors are attractive, in my opinion, but when you cut it apart, it sort of takes on a more abstract quality. So what I started to do was, no, I think I had it this way. So essentially I've turned this one upside down. Does that still look like a tree and a moon? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it just looks swirly and attractive. This one I would probably leave as it is, but that's personal choice. So what I started doing the other day was selecting some papers to put into the journal. Now you can see I was using, I'm not sure what size these are. Somebody had given me these 4 by 6 grid type cards. Not that heavy, but okay. And I just looked at my 6 by 6s. 6 by 6 papers. Now, of course, I see I didn't have to fold it quite such a deep pocket, but I did. What else have I got here? More of that. This is like quartz or marble or something. So I folded that, another one of those, and then just kind of a neutral, also 6x6. Now, I intended to, but obviously forgot to, look at my 8x8s. But again, paper selection is not the end of the world. Now, I had a scrap of a long, narrow, jagged scrap of this just packing paper. So I cut a couple, I cut them into sort of more like signature sized pages, something that would fit a wee bit better in here. I should also tear that edge, I guess, instead of a jagged cut. So what I wanted to do is, with you as my cheering section, fingers crossed, breath held, I wanted to try sewing in signatures. So, of course, that could be the tricky part. Now, I could take some more time, look for more papers, try something that fits a bit better, but I don't need to. This is an experiment. This is just fooling around. This is taking risks. Now, if I find that it works, which clearly I hope it does, I still have the option, especially since my signature pages are quite a bit narrower than the actual cover. I could, well, let's put that way. I could fold this back on itself and make it maybe more in proportion. Obviously, the papers would have to be folded back as well. So I'm thinking that this is like a canvas type material. And this seems to be well adhered. Not a single one of those little guys has popped off. So I could make this smaller if I wanted to. I could trim these pages. This had a fold in it already. I could fold these back, and then it would seem to work. So let's just, for the heck of it, try this thing out. Now, wouldn't it have been good if I'd have pulled out some clips? On a tiny little book like this, so this is what? I should use a better ruler. This is less than, or almost 5 inches. So on something as narrow or as short as that, I would not bother making a template or anything like that. Some of these clips are definitely better than others in terms of not scratching or tearing paper. So that is that. I'm going to roughly center it on within the confines of the cover. Push that in there. And I showed you in a video, I hope it's aired, that I had put a Japanese screw punch on my Christmas list. And it came. I mean, I got it because I was a very good girl. I was on the good list. Now, again, I decided that, look how good that copper looks against that. That's kind of nice too. Maybe I like this side more. Okay, so this will be my front cover, which then, of course, makes that the top. Maybe I should just throw on a couple more clamps. There seems to be a bit of slippage going on. Okay, so I got a Japanese screw punch, and the reason I liked this one is because it had different sized ends on it. If you remember, when I showed it, this ring here was just loose. Now, this is a wooden handle, which is nice. This is metal, which is nice. But this thing was like, what kind of crappy workmanship is that? So I fixed that by adding some Fabri-Tac. Now, oh, you know, another thing I didn't do. I don't want to be making a hole in my desk. Or, maybe let's get a bit of a book block here. Whoops. That's not very thick. That's a little bit better. So, in essence, and if you've watched Rachel at Roxy Creations, you know that she uses this all the time. So let's pick a spot that is maybe, well, I don't know, more visible or not. But so essentially, you just press down on it. Whoa. And you can see it went through that many pages in, what, 2 or 3 strokes? So that is pretty good. Now, however, that looks to me like it's a pretty tiny hole. These things are, almost the same, just a hair bigger. Now, the other thing I didn't care for about this was that I needed pliers. I couldn't remove that just with finger pressure. If you use a tool, it comes out easily. So let's see if we can figure out which is one size up here. Is it this one? Ooh, tinier. Okay, so those two are not the thing. So it's probably this one. So let's just have a look. See, yeah, that is pretty well identical to the size of one of those. And a pretty decent size. Forgive these fingernails. I'm getting them done in a day or two. Worst case scenario, I could, I'm sure, pry off 3 of those little gems to make it easier, because I don't know. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do, because I don't know what would happen otherwise. So put the bit in. Oh, just a minute. I need to shove that in, whoa, a little further, and then use that little tightening collar. I think this might be my new best friend. Okay, let's just try this as well. 2, 3. And of course, I'm not going to go through as many pages as I did here. So that's basically as far as it got. So that's still good. Now, I don't know, and of course there were no instructions, because why would we ever need instructions? Where is the waist going? You know, it's like if you use a post hole auger or something like that. You know, if you're digging a post hole to put up a fence between you and your wacky neighbor, you know that you have to pull that tool up every so often to bring up the soil so that you can keep on digging. Yeah, so I don't know if, can't very well do this in midair. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't appear to be self-cleaning, so it looks like, you know, clearly that could be a downside to this, but necessary evil. Okay, let's get the last of that out of there. Okay, get rid of the crumbs. And now what? I said this would be my front cover. Incidentally, and I'll maybe demonstrate after I've got the clamps off, I did try to cut this little surplus bit of this canvas off, and it wasn't working very well, so I probably need a new blade and a straight edge and do it properly instead of just trying to do it with scissors. I don't need that much padding. Okay, so I'm just wondering, I could use my centering ruler, but I'm not going to, because let's just eyeball it. Oh, see where it folds, it is kind of between the row as opposed to right on a row. So let me, because I can trim the edges. We can, oh, see, it does come off with not very much effort. So that's where I'll make one hole. And maybe I need to, no, let's not do that. Now we want this probably, okay, same row, but maybe about there. And then same row about there, since some of my pages are shorter. Now typically I would be making my holes from the inside. And I think that's just to make sure that we have this sort of a cradle type, you know. Some people have an actual cradle to hold this in, or use a big fat phone book or something like that. So the issue is going to be, maybe I need to sort of, whoops, do a little cheating. Let's see if I can, holding it, you know, kind of closed. Let's see if I can, now I could reach for an awl, I suppose, to make that little cheating hole. Okay, so I see a little pucker there. Okay. Let's do that again here. Oh, maybe do it this way without drawing blood, hopefully. And again over here. And again, an awl probably would have been a better tool to reach for, especially since that didn't work. Okay. I also, do I have it here? I also had to use, I used E6000 in this case because this part had come away from the handle. I like this one because the shaft is the same width all the way through. So again, holding the pages closed. Now, you may be thinking, because I'm thinking, well, why, if I'm making the holes with this, why do I need the screw punch? Oh, I still didn't get through. Okay, I'm glad you guys are here to see this because, you know, this is real life. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I still didn't get through. Maybe I should try from, I think it's right there. I didn't even make a hole through the outside. What's going on here? I did eat breakfast. I should have enough strength to do that. That must have gone through now. Look where the hole is. Oh my God. Okay, we know that one. Okay. I'm so glad you guys are willing to look at this stuff with me. Well, let's try that again. Okay, we have a hole. Now, when I look at it, it does seem a bit big, but we know that I can play around with whatever, like with the thickness of my fiber. So since that worked from the outside, I guess I'm going to try the second hole. And of course, worst case scenario, I could, are we through to China yet? Remember how our parents used to say, oh, you're digging a hole, you'll end up in China? Okay, so it's just that now I wonder if the difficulty is, again, the stuff that builds up inside. Nothing more seems to be coming out. Okay, let's do the third one and sew this baby together. This is enough fooling around here. So it looks like it takes about 3 plunges. Okay, that is that. That is that. That's a little boo-boo that will have to be covered up. Okay, so we have our 3 holes. This one really looks quite a bit bigger than the others, but that really can't be the case, so maybe it's an optical illusion. Now, let's find a needle. Oh, and if you also saw what I got for Christmas, which is going to be my favorite here, is it? That's a good size, probably. You know that I got 3 million rolls of waxed cord. Now, I don't know why they don't do it, but what I did was put it in color families. So I'm thinking it'll probably be a blue. Yeah, let's use a blue. And of course, I will find a way to do this so it's not so darn noisy. That's the wrong, so let's use that one. Now, the beauty of this, and I said all that in that video, is that because these come pre-waxed and in so many colors, a person can, you end up with the grip that you get with waxed thread, and without having to individually, wax every inch of it yourself. And you also have all those colors. That's a bit much. And the beauty of not using the whole three height, measurement, or maybe I should say, okay, let me say that more clearly for anyone who might be a beginner. Typically, when people are binding books, the recommendation is that you have your spool of thread and you kind of figure out 3 lengths, based on the height of the book that you're binding. And then some people even give it a little extra. That is excessive. But in the app, what are you going to say? 2.5 times? So that's usually what people say. However, there's waste. Every time you do it that way, there is waste. So if you find that you're comfortable enough to do this without pre-cutting your cord, because this is kind of a hindrance if you feel like you're all thumbs, But if you are not, if you feel confident, leaving it on the spool is going to save you yardage in the long run. And of course, you saw that I adjusted some of that before I did my tightening. Now, I always pull in the opposite direction of where these threads have come from. The beauty of this, using this kind of canvasy cover, oh, and I should also point out that each one of these wings has to be on either side of this center cord. Now, I'm reefing on that quite, you know, I don't want to say roughly, but I'm not babying it because you want there to be nice tension on that. You don't want it to be loosey-goosey. Now, the fact that this is waxed means that it's going to hold, it's not going to slip. So let's see what we have wrought here. And of course, whatever you can choose to either trim this nice and short to about 1/2 inch, leave it dangling, attach something if you want, personal choice. Now, we know that I had to sort of fudge this a bit here because the halfway fold was in a space rather than in a row. It was in a space between 2 rows rather than being dead set, centered on a roll. Now, I don't want to, oh, you can see some of those might want to lift. I pressed it, I should have shown you before I pressed it back down, but I think this is going to be very resilient because I have seen people at, you know, trade shows and so on, selling wallets and whatnot, purses made of this stuff. So it has to be pretty resilient. So at this moment in time, you can see that I probably need to trim 1 row off, which I'll do, which I guess bonus will also get rid of that little white strand that is there. It's easy to cut. And I don't know, I probably would throw that away. Okay, I said I would try to show you that by itself on this cut edge, now this, I guess I have some sticky stuff from this surface. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. If you said bless you, thank you. So this, again, is not, it kind of chews at it more than cuts it, but as with every cover, we do have the option of adding trim or whatever. Obviously, you can't sew through this, like you can't zigzag around it or whatever, but a trim could be glued on, or, you know, bias tape or something that would enclose it. I think that I feel, since we're on a roll here, I feel like turning back about 1 inch, or whatever that is. How many rows? 3, 6, 9 rows. Still going to add, that's probably not even enough. Let's do a couple more. Well, you know what? What would be simpler, Hazel, come on, is folding this back to more like a size that matches the other pages. This conveniently has a fold in it. And then this one. And of course, these folds can go either way. Now that is, let's remember which is the front. Oh, I guess it's not the front because my pockets are upside down. So, did I tell you that I really want this to be my front? Doughhead. Okay. So, that's a rookie mistake. Let me maybe clip these guys together to keep them a wee bit out of the way. So, obviously, typically we want our pockets at the bottom of the page, not the top. So let's just see how much of this I could fold back and still have that little protective edge for the edge of the book. You know, this could be a case of more luck than brains. I am working this over quite vigorously, and nothing, fingers crossed, touch wood, has popped off there. Okay, so that's, let me stop fooling around with this, and we'll get that glue flowing while I do the same at the other end. I suppose it would be smarter, never promise smarts here, to have measured that, but that oh, I spoke too soon. And this guy's loose. And there's one missing. Oh, darn. Okay, I'm going to have to, I don't really know what kind of glue that is, but obviously I can. Okay, so let's just say that folding that back may not have been my most brilliant idea ever, because it will be a point of weakness. Okay, I got two little blue guys right there. So I'm going to, can you see, add Fabri-Tac, top and bottom, to make that little pocket. Whoops, don't lay that down. I mean, don't stand that up. And I think, where's my other guy? Just to help it, you know, grab. So let's do, oh, here's the other little blue guy. Or is that, oh no, they're all there. Okay, let's quickly do this. Again, I probably moved out of range. And then I will add a bead of glue. Now I have others of these already done. Does that cover the same size? It appears to be. I still need this. I have other kits like this. I just want to quickly, whoops. Quickly attach some pressure here so it grabs. Now, where are the missing pieces? Oh, down here. So I see two there. I have seen, I think it was Kim Newberg, talk about or use the little grippy tool. Let's just pick this up with a needle or a finger, a wet finger. Where did it go? And see if we can lay this baby down. You can see why you need the little gripper. Now oh, here it is. It flew across the table. Oh my goodness. Is it static electricity or what is going on here? Oh, there it is. It did land where it was supposed to. I might need another little dab there. Okay, so I would say that for the next cover, which I'm not going to do with you, it would be wiser to cut that off and don't try to make the pocket. And getting it right set up is always a bonus. Okay, hold. Frankly, I cannot see where the third one came off, so I'm not going to sweat it. Oh, see, that is not very good the way that do you see how those edges are? I must not have folded it exactly. Those should be able to lie flat, not extend beyond, because that's just asking for trouble. Luckily, there is a bit of setup time with Fabri-Tac. I did cover it good. Let's see what's happening on this side. Oh, same thing here. Might have to lift this as well. And give those guys, oh, yeah, this is way too much handling. So which way do I want them to go? I guess let them come to the inside. But you can see that, and this of course was, done in real time. You can see that this is very attractive. And of course, we have both learned a few little precautions. So as I said, okay, here's another little loose one. I would not try this folding business again. I would cut that off on at whatever point it should be cut off, so that it doesn't have that, you don't have that problem, that issue. I will just hopefully keep track of these two guys, and if it's someplace obvious that it needs to be replaced, then I will. Whoops, here's another one. I think that's very darn cute. Now, if I find that lifting this and repositioning it doesn't hold, then I will re-glue it. It feels kind of so nice. Of course, I always like a little book that fits right in my hand. I hope that this little on-air risky idea has encouraged you to try the same. So my signature pages on the next one are the same size. So this time I know that I need to get them a uniform size and then trim. I wonder, since I keep finding these guys, my final question to myself and to you is, Should I go over this with matte medium? I don't know what these little flaky things are. So that is something to ponder. Oh, see, that guy just came off. I think I will also be doing the reattaching of these single guys, single circles with Fabri-Tac, just because it is a smaller nozzle. And we hope, of course, that it works. So that one was that one. Now I do have to go back. Oh, see, here are a couple more. This may not have been the genius idea I thought it was. Okay, where's the glue? Whoopsie. Flip over. Come on. I think that with that little lifting tool, and I'm sure I have one in my unopened kit, that art glitter glue is probably long since dried and disappeared. If I had the proper tool, that would have made this easier to re-glue any guys that tried to jump overboard. So tell me in the comments what you think. Like, is this something you would try? Do you have any advice for me before well, I'll do the second one, I'm sure, before this video airs, but I do have more kits that I could use in bigger sizes, in fact. I will for the next one, though, obviously make sure that I have the proper little gripping tool. But I think it is pretty sweet. Oh, see the holes? Maybe those holes are a smidge big. Maybe on the next one I try smaller holes, because that too is part of the formula for getting a nice tight signature attachment doohickey thingamajigger. This white thing kind of bugs me. That is not working. Okay, this obviously needs a little TLC, and maybe the best thing I can do is stop touching it. Thanks, guys. I will show you the results of the second one in a follow-up Friday video. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, if you haven't already done so, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, and comment. In this case, I'm hoping you've got some words of wisdom. Thank you. Bye-bye.